All right, everybody. Welcome to the Sovryn Community Call. This is Englandia. Happy to kick this off with some fresh Bitcoin rhymes. Here goes. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Okay, here we go. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but let's do it. Listen up, y'all. Bitcoiners above all, we're about to go against the things that we were once taught. Struggle for sovereignty cuts deeper than a buzzsaw, more than just a Twitter meme like that Elon Musk dog. Privacy at stake in a surveillance state, leveraging proof of work to secure our cake. DMs in my phone, it's buzzing all day. What is BabelFish and when is the launch date? If you can vote, here's something I'll say. SIP 17 from Money on Chain. They're the makers of a token called DOC, Bitcoin-backed stable coin. I'm keen, homie. If I dare to speak the truth and it will set me free, we should leverage that more than USDT. That's plenty of bullet points to chat about. Sovryn Community Call. Let's hash it out. Okay.
Woo!
Woo! Good stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us here. Thank you for sharing in this mission. Once again, my name is Englandia. The rules are, if you're not speaking, please mute yourself. If you would speak, please toggle the mute button back and forth to get our attention. If that doesn't work, feel free to politely jump into the conversation. Before we go through the agenda, I just want to warn that we have some guests here from Money on Chain, and so we'll have to, kind of breeze through some of the updates so that we can squeeze in their presentation. So we have Manu and Maximiliano from Money on Chain, but I'm going to kick it off with the governance report featuring Idan Yago. So feel free to take the floor.
Hey everyone, it's nice to have another community call. There has been a lot of exciting stuff happening. It's really nice to see the protocol in action. Most of the activity right now has been on the USDT BTC pair and the SOV BTC pair. That's going to change, I think, pretty rapidly, and we'll talk about how. But let's talk about what we've seen already. So the protocol is already driving quite significant trading volume. Trading volume has tended between $3 million and $10 million daily, which is right up there in terms of sort of industry standards. It's actually quite a bit higher than most platforms on a per pair basis. What that also means is that liquidity providers are making good money. So I took a swag at calculating the APY on the USDT BTC pool for USDT. That seems to be about 12-14% APY annually. If you're a liquidity provider, that's not including.
It's on the fridge.
Ingmar, you may need to mute yourself.
Otherwise, I'll look for you and mute you. Thanks.
So that's not including the additional rewards. So that's pretty exciting. And then on the SOV BTC pool, it's about 16% APY. We also have about 35 to 45% APY, depending on the day, on the USDT lending pool. So it's the protocol is driving substantial revenue. One of the things that we really need to get in as soon as possible is the ability for people to not have to calculate this themselves, but for the UI to just display that. So hopefully that will come soon. In addition to that, so those are funds that are being provided, basically being earned by the LPs in the platform, which is you guys. But in addition to that, there are the stakers in the platform who get paid by the platform earning fees itself, and that also has been happening. The protocol has started to become profitable, which means that staking rewards are likely to start pretty soon, and are likely to ramp up in terms of their APY and value. So watch this space. I think that's coming quite soon. Beyond that, I'm sure everyone on the call already knows, we have a bridge already deployed to Ethereum and to Binance. We spent a lot. It's been deployed. They've both been deployed for several weeks now. We spent a lot of time testing. Many of you have helped participate in that testing. We've been doing a lot of hardening. And what this means is, and there's going to be a blog post coming out about this tonight, but it means we're going to start bridging tokens. And the first token we're going to bridge is SOV, and we're going to bridge it initially to Ethereum for an upcoming listing on Uniswap. So that will be our first listing outside of the Sovryn platform. Will introduce us to an entirely new audience and probably help us drive more interest, more awareness, and more users to the system, as well as allow far more people and more capital to have access to SOV. As with everything that Sovryn does, it's highly dependent on you. So starting either Monday or Tuesday, there's going to be a liquidity mining program for SOV holders to participate as LP providers, so liquidity providers to that Uniswap pool. So you'll be able to start earning fees on that as well. And then in addition to that, there's two things which we should be introducing. So those of you who participated in the Genesis sale or the Origin sale know that we've already built out a sort of token sale system, and anyone who's used the AMM knows that we have a trading system. And so both of these things, it looks like they're going to be used again, and we'll be expecting to see more and more listings based on sort of the conversations we are seeing. But the two that we can talk about now is Money on Chain have already published a SIP. And Manu and Maximiliano from Money on Chain will be speaking after our updates, telling you more about that, more about the MOC listing, more about DOC, what it means and why it's important, and why this might be something you guys want to participate in as liquidity providers or token holders. And then in addition to that, we've a couple of times mentioned the BabelFish project, which has been seeing a growing community. And Dark Knight messaged me, who I think is on the call today, messaged me to let me know that he also plans to put forward a SIP, which his community is working on right now around a token sale on our Origins Launchpad platform. So after we've provided the updates, I think we should give 10-15 minutes to Manu and Max and a little bit of time to Dark Knight to discuss what they're looking to do. And with that, I'm going to hand things over to Aurora.
Thanks. So, hi everyone. Like Diego already said, we are preparing the ESOP listing on Uniswap, and this needs a bridge to Ethereum, which is deployed, and a lot of you guys helped us testing it on testnet, which was amazing. Thank you for this. Also, what we will do is we're going to provide a contract where you can start providing liquidity in SOV for this new ESOP pool on Uniswap, if you would like to earn on the Uniswap trading fees and some additional SOV liquidity mining rewards. And this contract will allow you to just put your funds in advance and have us move them all at once over the bridge. We decided to offer this service because the bridging fees to Ethereum are very high due to the Ethereum gas costs. So this is a way to saving on it and do not have to do any manual work. I think that you will be able to read more here on the channels in the upcoming days, but it will happen early next week. Then some of you might remember that last week we were talking about SOV margin trading, but we decided to delay this, which would have needed us to build the Oracle for it. in favor of liquidity mining. And with liquidity mining, I mean smart contract-based liquidity mining. So we're going to switch our process from backend based to a very nice decentralized smart contract-based approach. And yeah, this is why we needed to delay the work on the Oracle, but the SOV margin trading is going to come eventually. We're also, a lot of you, like if I'm looking into Discord, I'm always seeing the questions about when there will be staking rewards paid and when the fees are going to be withdrawn and shared with stakers. And the answer is that hopefully quite soon. The fee sharing contract has been developed. I can hear myself. So the
Is everyone muted? Please mute yourself. If I don't see you muted, I will mute you.
Okay, thanks. Now it's better. So the fee sharing contract is being tested on testnet, has been tested internally, and again, I would ask for your help to help us test everything extensively on testnet before we put it into production. Well, the fee sharing contract, at least that we start using it. Currently, there are already more than 400,000 USD in fees generated by the protocol, which are ready to be distributed. And currently, they are going to be distributed in form of liquidity pool tokens of the lending pool. But in the future, we're going to change it to allow you to withdraw all of your fees in BTC instead. We're also working on the one-sided divergence check. Some of you might have realized that they were not able to close their position due to the AMM being out of balance, and this caused the price diverge too much from the Oracle price. And currently, the smart contracts are always taking both directions, so it doesn't matter in which direction the price diverges. If it's more than 5%, it will not allow you to make the transaction. And we're in the process of changing it, so it only prevents you to making a loss of more than 5%, but it will not prevent you from making the profit. Apart from that, we drastically improved the code documentation of our contracts. We refactored some of our contracts, took a look at the changes BZX introduced over time, and copied what we liked. On the backend side, we developed a faster and more fault-tolerant fast BTC, which is already ready for production, and
about who pulled this data into a pretty chart for us. It may take a little while to load. It pulls several data sources in live. But what I hope it will convey is the enormous amount of growth we've had on the platform in a very short space of time. Our total number of users has leapt to over 10,000 last week and continues to climb steeply. Our total value lock now stands at over 36 million, putting us at position 49 on DeFi Pulse, which is my go-to reference. And the SOV price has been buoyant since its listing, and you'll see their growth over time of a number of other data points. We're still tweaking the graphs and adding more info, but we look forward to getting more of the Sovryn story to you over the coming weeks. And that's it from me, so thanks for listening.
Hi, it's Exiled Surfer here with the community report. So we're finally going to be we've signed the contract with Gitcoin for the Sovryn hackathon, and they will be opening up, making an announcement on the 5th of May next week, and opening up for signups for the hackathon, which will be running between 21st May and 21 June. Right now, we're going to have a total of $500,000 worth of bounties and grants for the hackathon that could increase as the partners are going to be coming on board. Ingemar and Yago and myself and Joshua are all working on bringing the partners on board to add to the value of the hackathon. The big piece of news that we have coming up is we've implemented this week customer support ticketing desk software, and the community manager team is busy working on canned responses and tagging for that so that we can offer better service to people who are having issues with the platform. We'll be moving technical support out of Discord and pushing people to a ticketing system so they can actually track that their issue is being taken care of and are not just lost in an endless scroll of Discord or Telegram chats. Also next week, in anticipation of the ETH Bridge launch, Edon will be on the Bankless podcast, which is a major accomplishment. Ethereum maxis that are very excited about interviewing Yago next week. Also next week, Yago and I will be on the Bird Nest podcast, which is a large trading community with 5.5 million subscribers on YouTube, a massive market. So we're going to be getting good promotion next week and leading up to the Bridge launch. Also, hopefully coming up in May, we'll be getting out our crypto native merchandise shop with Sovryn swag. It's been set up by one of our community members named Fat Matt on Shopify, and it's integrated directly with BTC Pay server from Nicholas Dorier. So everybody will be able to pay natively in Bitcoin and Ethereum tokens, and hopefully we'll be able to motivate BTC Pay to also integrate SOV at some point, RSK payments. And the last bit of news is that we're probably going to launch next week what's called the Sovryn Sage. The Sovryn Sage is a new bot for Discord, which will provide the community managers direct access to all of the links of our wikis with a couple of key commands so that they can answer questions more quickly. And secondly, there will be data and price feed commands available to the community managers for requests. And there will be a price ticker in Discord as well at the top right-hand corner. So we've also been really busy in the wiki and production teams with everything. And that's everything for me.
Cool. Looks like we're a little ahead on time, so I'll give some updates on the business development side. So we're working on getting an Oracle platform on Sovryn on RSK as well as on the rollup. And it seems like we do have a company who's down for that. We're having meetings with wallets and so far have one offer for a wallet integration. And this wallet has millions of users, so we're very excited about it, and we'll announce when it's signed. I'm also talking to a New York developer firm to see how we can get some added dev power, and I've also brought in another dev shop looking to work on some exciting new stuff that Yago has been ideating this week. And I don't know if you want to share more about it, Yago, but I'll leave it at that. And working on setting like a framework for new projects to launch on Origins, which we're discovering as we go with projects like that you may have heard about. So I think with that I would like to introduce Manu from Money on Chain. He is one of the co-founders, and I believe he has some information and maybe a visual presentation on Money on Chain, and then we can go from there and open up the floor for questions.
Thank you, England. Really a pleasure to be here. An honor. I've been following this project since early days, so I'm very, very happy to be here. And yes, I think I have a very brief presentation. I will try to do it very, very fast because maybe some of you don't know too much about Money on Chain. So the idea is to explain you in 10 minutes, maximum, maybe 5 minutes, what is Money on Chain. And from then on, actually, yesterday there was a SIP proposal that a very good friend of Money on Chain founders, but a really early user of Sovryn had presented. So I think that there is a big opportunity for both of these projects to work even more together, because I from my point of view, we are already working a lot together. So I will share my screen. If there is any question, just let me know. I'm sorry. Screens and touch screen here. So I'm here. So is everybody able to see my presentation?
Yeah.
Perfect. So what we want to do is to bring Bitcoin to the mainstream. So in that sense, we really align with Sovryn values and objectives. We are Bitcoiners. The founders of Money on Chain are all-time Bitcoiners. We love Bitcoin, and what we want is that the whole humanity uses Bitcoin. For doing that, we built there is like four big pieces of software. One is the stablecoin protocol that I'm going to talk a little bit more afterwards. Then we have oracles to provide a price to the stablecoin protocol. Actually, our oracles are being used by Sovryn, and it's open source. Any protocol wanting to do something on RSK can use these price feeders. And then there is a decentralized token exchange that we call DEX. That is an order book, is completely different to the AMM, for example, that Sovryn has. But we built that because when we launched the stablecoin protocol, initially there was no exchange, decentralized exchange on RSK, and we thought it was important for one to be there. And on top of that, there is a governance token, which is called MOC, from Money on Chain token, and it allows to make this protocol completely decentralized. We have not implemented everything to be this protocol completely decentralized, but we are in the path of doing that, and the first step for that was the launch of this token that happened this Monday. So regarding the stablecoin protocol, it has three tokens. One is the dollar on chain. The dollar on chain is stablecoin backed by Bitcoin. The price of the dollar on chain is hard pegged to the US dollar and is guaranteed by the smart contract. That I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. Then we have the BitPro. The BitPro is a token designed for Bitcoiners willing to have free leverage, some coded income, so part of the fees from the protocol is a liquidity token. This provides liquidity. BitPro is impossible to issue dollar on chain, so the this Monday, and it's going to take a little bit of some months to finish all this. This is not completely decentralized yet, but in a couple of months it's going to be ready. We need to implement several changes. And then what offers this MOC token for Sovryn community if they are interested to list it in the AMM? If you are holding a MOC token, you will be able to stake this token and get most of the fees of the platform. 80% of the fees that are paid by users using Money on Chain goes back to the MOC token holders that stake their tokens. And if you stake these tokens, also 100% of these text goes to the token holders. On top of that, there is staking rewards that I'm going to talk in 2 seconds. And also, there is a discount if you are paying the fees of the protocol. In a couple of weeks, we are going to implement a way for you to pay these fees with MOC token with a discount. Regarding the rewards program that I mentioned, 37.5% of the tokens are now going to be distributed for MOC token holders. 75% of these are going to MOC token holders, and 25% goes to BitPro holders. So there is a big chunk, a really big proportion of these MOC tokens that are going to go to holders. So that's and this starts actually next Monday. And and each month it decreases a little bit. So there is like a huge incentive to be early MOC token holders and to stake them. So that's very, very briefly what is money on chain. I don't know if you know our Telegram groups. I know that a lot of our users of our community is in Sovryn, and I would love to see all of you also you are welcome in our community. So that's very briefly, and I don't know if Nicolas is here, Nico Bourdon, that maybe he might want to share about this proposal that he presented yesterday.
Yeah, thanks. Hi everyone. I'm just I think I was part of Money on Chain before it existed, helping because I know most of them. So I was never part of Money on Chain, but I was like a community, as I was also for Sovryn, that I think I was also one of the first main users here in Sovryn. So the same way I loved both services, I was finding hard to use, not to see these Money on Chain tokens and docs into Sovryn, primarily because I personally only use Bitcoin and do not use any other DeFi protocols. So therefore, I'm only living here in this space in Bitcoin or some in RSK, etc. So I don't have stable coins from my networks, and I knew that I could find easily docs into the Money on Chain protocol because the smart contract gives you straight away. So that's why I was insisting. I was insisting in the other community. Hey guys, Sovryn is going like crazy. This is going very fast. It's growing very rapidly. And I strongly believe the Money on Chain should play a bigger role there. So this is a great place for Money on Chain to play a big role. So that's why I was insisting over there. I was also many times talking in this community about docs, etc. And well, that ended up with this SIP. And I hope, after comments, etc., we can finally go for voting. So that's pretty much the rationale. But I truly believe that it will be great to see a Bitcoin-backed stablecoin being the preferred choice for Bitcoiners in RSK, and that's what I am trying to achieve. Okay, so yes, there are other stablecoins out there, and that's all fine, but I love to see a bigger role of the DOC token here.
Thank you, Nico. Really, thank you for your words. I need to do many asados.
Yeah, thanks.
Would you guys like to take some questions?
Sure.
I've got questions. So one thing I didn't understand well during the presentation was the Money on Chain token launched this Monday, or is it going to be launched next Monday?
It was launched this Monday, so anybody who is interested, you can trade it in the centralized exchange, what's called DEX token exchange. But the idea is to list it in Sovryn, so you can trade it in Sovryn. That's the proposal from Nicolas, and I think it's a great proposal.
Yes, I think it's good. Yes, but I will leave the floor to the others answering questions.
Sure. So
hey,
yep.
Oh, sorry, Ingalandia, can I ask?
Yeah, I was just going to say that the SIP 17 was posted yesterday, and it's in forum.sovryn.app, and yeah, if for reference, you can look there under Bitocracy for the draft of that SIP. So go ahead, Whipper.
Hey, Money on Chain guys. Happy to have you guys here. Just a quick question, because I obviously don't know too much about your project, but like, is DOC similar to like how DAI is on Ethereum? And do you create DOC by using like CDPs and stuff like that?
Well, it's not like DAI. The financial model behind is completely different. It has, as I presented, 3 actors. It has the BPRO, and it has the dollar on-chain, and the third token is the BTCX. And to mint a DAI, you have to open a vault and have a CDP. In our case, if you want the stablecoin, you just send Smart Bitcoin to the protocol, and it gives you back the dollar on chain, the same amount in dollars. If you send $50,000 in Bitcoin, it will give you $50,000 in DOC. For that being able to happen, before some other Bitcoiners need to provide the liquidity for that, the collateral, and that's the BPRO holders. And the third actor are the BTCX, which are long positions that take most of the risk, most of the volatility is taken by the BTCX. So it's a completely different model, and actually it's a much more robust model. As you know, other protocols had a very tough month in March 2020, and actually they need to change the model. And for us, it was business as usual. The protocol had any problem to react to the drop to the Bitcoin crash price.
Manu, do you mind if I jump in here for just a second? So there's in economics, there's a very sort of well understood rule, which is no convertibility, no parity. What that means is if you can't instantly convert from one asset to another, those two assets will not stay in parity. They will not stay equal, right? And there are amazing examples of this throughout history. Should be the same price, do not say the same price unless they're convertible. The big difference between dollar on chain and DAI is that you have convertibility. So you can instantly convert Bitcoin to DOC or DOC into Bitcoin at the exact price instead of trying to rely on a promise of collateralization. And so that's a very powerful advantage that the money on chain model has.
Thank you, Ian.
I'm curious. Where's the Oracle data coming from to maintain the price parity?
It comes from the most important exchanges that trade Bitcoin, dollar cash. So we took the price from those exchanges. We have a mathematical a media from that, and then it feeds the price to the protocol. So it's actually we evaluated all the oracles in the market, and we decided to build our own oracles. I can share you afterwards the information about that.
Yeah, it would be great to have that in the general channel for everybody to see who the exchanges are on the Oracle contract, and maybe a link to the Oracle contract as well. Would be cool.
Okay.
Awesome. So we seem to have breezed through most of the agenda. So we can open up the floor for general questions.
I think Dark Knight also wants to say a few words since he is looking to propose a SIP as well. Is that right, Dark Knight?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was just about to ask for the floor. Thank you, Iago. Cool. Yes, I think this second half of Sovryn's bi-weekly meeting is turning into a stablecoin call, which is great. Just briefly, yes, I've also been an active participant on the Sovryn community. Some of you may have met me already. I'm also a user of Money on Chain. Really excited about all of the mocks that I've been earning by minting some DOC, and I definitely recommend you guys to check that protocol, and I definitely will be voting in favor of this SIP. And so, yes, today I actually also shared a SIP that I am drafting right now together with a community for a project called BabelFish, which some of you may have heard in the community call that we had here in Sovryn a while back. And so very briefly and simply put, BabelFish comes out from this realization that, stablecoins have been growing massively, so in like 3 years ago, there were probably less than a dozen stablecoin projects, and today there's over 100 of them. The most recent example is Fei, which raised over $1 billion in Ethereum to create this sort of like crypto-backed / algorithmic stablecoin. I am also a part of the Fei experiment. And so BabelFish sees, the future of stablecoins as very dynamic, full of experimentation. We honestly believe that anybody with an internet connection will be able to make stablecoins with their friends online. And that's what BabelFish is being built for. And in one phrase, I would say that BabelFish is like a decentralized bank with branches across different chains where we can accept all of the stablecoins that have demand and are generating yield. We take that stablecoin deposit, and then you can, travel to a different chain where you would want to use a dollar, which is what powers basically DeFi. We do not want to charge fees for this. Instead, what the BabelFish decentralized bank will do with its collateral across different chains is to lend these stable coins, earn interest, and then use that interest to buy some Bitcoin insurance on rootstock periodically to insure the protocol. This is the alpha proposal that we're working on. This is something that I've been hashing with some members of the Sovryn community. Sue has been very helpful. Dark Matter has been very helpful. Yago's vision has also been super helpful. And so I recently also just posted today, I posted in the forum, to be like a delegate for votes because I am committed to Sovryn over the long term. But today I posted basically, an invitation to the Sovryn community to come check out this massive organic Discord community that we basically announced like a month ago. And somehow the word has been spreading. I would give a lot of credit to the Sovryn vibrations for that massive growth. Right now, in just a month, we have over 1,000 Discord members, and we're nearing 1,000 Twitter followers. These are real followers. We have a bot to check that they're real, and they're all super excited not only about Sovryn but about the potential of what BabelFish is. And so we want to. If you go to the forum right now, what we are proposing in the SIP is that we need to launch this protocol in a decentralized way. Unlike Center, which issues Circle, and you can go to their website, center.io. BabelFish actually bought the website decenter.io. What this means is, it cannot be managed by me. I'm trying to bring a community together of developers and community organizers to really build this project that right now we hope will be in alpha in around 4 weeks. But to do that, we really need to do a token sale, to have a governance, to vote on proposals, and to make this a reality. So being a passionate member of this community, a really active member of this community, I would like for it to launch on Sovryn. It would effectively be the first DeFi project launching on top of Sovryn. And please come and check out the community. Check out the SIP that we're drafting. We want to make sure that the SIP, is solid, and that's why I shared that, just inviting you guys, if you have comments, we want to make sure that the SIP proposal, which we hope to post up for real next week early, gets approved, and that we can make this dream a reality. And basically, what BabelFish allows is to increase stablecoin flow. At first, it will bring a lot of liquidity from different chains to Sovryn by leveraging technology that is being built already by Sovryn, such as the bridge that was mentioned earlier in this call. But what's also awesome is that it doesn't do like vampire attacks. Because it lends the collateral, it will basically keep DeFi crops fertile. And it can also benefit projects like, for example, money on chain. If people have dollar on chains, they can quickly they want to use it outside of rootstock, then they could easily trade it one by one to, for example, UST, which is earning 20% on the Terra Money / Luna blockchain. So there's a lot of innovation. We expect this innovation to keep on growing, and BabelFish basically seeks to unite all of this liquidity and facilitate stablecoin flow, and eventually, also help to Bitcoin's value by getting a bit of Bitcoin insurance. So that's basically in brief. Thank you for your time, guys. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Two things, Dark Knight.
Yeah.
You're still interested in running a stablecoin panel for the hackathon talks, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I call myself a stabilista. That's really how I fell down the rabbit hole.
Cool. The second thing is, Sue, would you like to explain how we'll be integrating money on chain into the dApps interface for people?
Yeah. So I don't know how many of you guys are users of centralized exchanges. I will assume that most of you are not. But right now, even by using Sovryn's example, right now, Sovryn accepts USDT and accepts DOC. So you have two rows in your portfolio or in your wallet. And we expect that with these bridges, you're going to have another row for USDC and another bridge for DAI. And this basically fragments liquidity, right? And it just becomes really complicated to manage, not only for the protocol itself, but also for users. It's very messy from a user experience point of view. So what we want to do is that it's basically sort of like a single row that it's USD, and then basically you have an option to deposit and to withdraw. You can deposit from any chain, any accepted stablecoin, and it will be counted as USD or XUSD. And then you can withdraw. When you want to withdraw, you can withdraw to any chain, to any stablecoin. So it really aims to be a very simple product, at least in the alpha stage. And of course, if we launch a decentralized protocol, it will evolve according to the community decisions. There's a lot of feedback we are already getting on, why don't you do this or why don't you do that? But at first, we just want to simplify the experience for Sovryn users, prove and basically, serve as a proof of concept, which we think will be really exciting.
Actually, it gives us the opportunity to ask a question to everyone here, which would be, when you're depositing and withdrawing, would you want to deposit and withdraw from other addresses, or would you just want to deposit and withdraw from your MetaMask or your Liquidity wallet that you're using on RSK, but from the Ethereum part of it?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question that we're figuring out right now. It's much easier with MetaMask to auto-populate all of this with Web3. But as I am aware that Liquidity is also working on an upgrade to facilitate this, and since Liquidity is a partner in Sovryn, we definitely want to include them. So these are decisions that we hope to solve in the coming weeks. We're actually addressing that specific question right now.
What I mean is, it's more of a question to the community, which is like, I guess if they're withdrawing their stable coins from Sovryn, whereabouts do they want to actually withdraw to? Would they want to be just withdrawing it back straight into the MetaMask and the Liquidity wallet on the Ethereum chain of it, or would they want to be withdrawing to another address completely?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, that the way that we want to build the protocol, and sorry if I didn't understand the question at first, we definitely want to incentivize people moving stablecoins. We want to incentivize stablecoin flow within the protocol itself. But yes, if they want to withdraw it to another wallet, and probably that's something that we will do at a later stage when we can request a different address where the user can send it. So if it's much simpler to develop a solution where it's you can only withdraw it to your MetaMask addresses, and that's how it will probably begin. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, actually, Sue was asking the question of the community users. Does anybody have an opinion on that would like to say what they'd like to see?
I mean, if I can jump in here, it's Whipper. I wasn't exactly sure I understood Sue's question. What do you mean by withdrawing to ETH?
Well, say if you've got your XUSD stablecoin in Sovryn and you want to withdraw it, you can withdraw it to any chain you want and have it become any stablecoin on any other chain. So at the moment, you would be able to do that in your, say, for instance, your MetaMask. You would be able to just withdraw it, and it would go straight to the ETH address of your MetaMask, or the Binance chain address of your MetaMask. So I guess my question was from a usability standpoint and from like what you are kind of doing as a user, what when you were going to withdraw USD from Sovryn, how and where would you want to be withdrawing it to?
So yeah, so these are conversations that Sue and I, you and I, we've been really trying to crack at this, and so we can keep that conversation outside of this forum, but Sovryn will be the first partner, and that's also what we would like. Sovryn will be the first partner where we can use XUSD as a proof of concept. So if you're, and then then it's a matter of doing BD with different protocols, or just just really working on getting accepted in in different DeFi protocols the use of XUSD. Otherwise, they'll just have to withdraw into the underlying into any of the other chains. I'm just not sure if I'm getting the question right.
Exile, did you understand what I was saying?
Guys, let's move on. This is such a esoteric question for this call.
Sorry about that.
Do we have any final questions before I close out?
Please, if anybody has more questions, you can also either shoot them here or add them in the document that we have. It's open for comments. We really think it's a very simple project to understand. But as you can see, when it comes to building a really simple product, there are actually very complex, usability questions that are taking place in the background.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
So-
Thank you so much, Dark Knight. Does anybody want to raise a different question here for the last minutes of the call?
Just wondering if you guys can expand on the use of Sovryn. Sort of, it sounds like a launchpad. Different projects going on, which is super cool and very exciting. I've seen a lot of launchpads on Ethereum do exceptionally well. Anyone just sort of describe how this would work, how it plays out, what sort of pricing or incentives? Just a little bit more clarity on how the use of Sovryn and using these projects as a launchpad would work on Sovryn.
Sure, I'm happy to jump in on that. So, building a decentralized system and a community around it is a hard job. We've taken it extremely serious. And now that it exists, there's an opportunity for other projects to piggyback on it. So let's say you're interested in launching a project. You need funds. You have a great idea. Wouldn't it be nice if you could allow, if you had a springboard where there was already a decentralized system that could launch the system for you? It would reduce your regulatory risk. It would provide you with a built-in community. It would provide you with the ability to take funds from any chain that Sovryn is connected to. It would give you substantial liquidity, a place to trade, the whole package. But the most important thing maybe is the fact that you can effectively allow an already decentralized system to do the two most important things for you. One, make sure that you are not acting as the issuer of a token. And two, have a community that is able to vet projects so that you don't end up with a whole bunch of shitcoin. And I think that's something that Sovryn can provide in a unique way that no one else is able to provide. It's one of the things that we've started to see projects approach Sovryn about. And we've already, you guys have heard of 2 projects tonight, but there's a number who have reached out to various members on the team. And so what that means for Sovryn, I think, is first of all, a growing ecosystem. Second, substantially more value in the protocol. Remember, what we're trying to build here is the financial operating system of the future. And so having the basic functions of things like issuing or listing a new project is a very important part of that, right? The ability to do capital acquisition. And more volume, more traction, more fees generated by the protocol on all of these different activities. And I also think, based on what the conversations I've been having with people like Dark Knight, that this is probably also going to be a way for projects to sort of take advantage for themselves of the community that we've built, but also give that advantage back to the stakers, the SOV stakers. And so there have been a number of different proposals in different directions, anything from airdrops to SOV stakers to sort of exclusive deals that are going to be offered to SOV stakers. And, we'll have to see how this evolves, because it's very much going to be sort of experimentation, I assume, over the next months. And we'll need to see which projects come, which projects are accepted by the community, and what they're going to offer. But I think this is a very key part of how we're going to grow the Sovryn ecosystem, how we're going to grow the functionality that the operating system can have by sort of having apps within the OS, and is going to allow us to provide a huge benefit by allowing really good projects to get the best possible start.
May I add to that, Iago?
Of course.
So there's two things I'd like to say. One is that the focus up until now has primarily been on the launch of the coin and the launch of the exchange and its availability. But the underlying thing that I think that we need to be communicating as we move forward is that Sovryn is a protocol that enables these types of things to happen. So it's less of a coin and more of a platform and a protocol and an OS, as Iago says. And to answer your question specifically, Whipper, Iago mentioned different type of incentive programs, and you can see in the SIP that was put out by Money on Chain, they're talking there about incentive programs for holders on and stakers on the platform. And of course, anybody that's involved in the community will be getting the earliest news about platform launches. So I would expect that it will be up to each project that wants to launch on Sovryn, that they would be enumerating the incentive programs that they would be offering to Sovryn holders or stakers in some way. Yeah, does that make sense, Whipper?
Yeah, I mean, everything you guys said totally makes sense. As I mentioned earlier, I love the idea of a Launchpad. I think it's super, super useful. I was just curious if there was more specifics about incentives for Sovryn community, but I guess, as you just mentioned, it's probably more on a project-to-project basis. And yeah, I'll check out those forums to see what sort of information those projects put out.
I think we're also open to ideas on that, but let me close this out first, and everyone. But just to try to respect people's time, we're a few minutes over, so I want to say thank you everyone for joining this call. This was a great one. Your support makes all of the hard work worthwhile. So what we are is a collective who is carving out a trail for financial freedom, dismantling what people know and understand about money. So help us spread the word and create more sovereign individuals. So as I said, if you guys want to hang and ask more questions, I'm going to end the recording. But the Sovryn community call has now adjourned. So thanks, everybody.
Win Lembo.
But Whipper, what's something that you would like to see maybe out of this Origins platform?
Sure.
Maybe,
yeah, no problem, for sure. I've noticed that a lot of the launch pads on Ethereum give first rights to different tier levels of people staking, or different levels of people holding, different tokens of some sort. So I think it would be nice, and it's advantageous to give SOV sort of very strong incentive so that not only we'll participate, but the participation will also pay off.